Hi everyone. We are back with part two. Um, it's still Brandon.
Still me.
um, so we wanted to talk this time about potential problems artists may be facing in this industry these days. So my first question to you is, what kind of problems did you face as you were beginning your artist career?
I think a lot of it, I kind of remember, it's kind of crazy, like I was in a pop punk band when I was in college. And I think like the biggest thing was, I usually had like another like bandmate that was like finding venues and stuff for us, but especially like the bigger name venues, you had to have like specific ticket sales or like they were like, no, you can't play, you know?
Mm.
So I think it was like tough because obviously we're still trying to get in the door as like a pop punk band, and there were certain venues that always were like, yeah, we love you guys, come through, play, that we like played all the time in. But I think like some of the bigger ones, especially like even like here locally in Pittsburgh, more like the South Side stuff. Yeah, it was a little tougher, and I think like especially like a rising, not just a band but an artist in general. Um, you obviously want to take it to the next level and start jumping into those major venues. But I remember just, it was funny. Like, I remember me and the bandmates, like, out on the streets trying to sell tickets to come see us. Like, you gotta come to the show. Like, the show's amazing. And we had to, like, fight for that. And I remember, like, selling them. It was crazy. But, I think it was, like, a little bit of a struggle to not have that audience that are automatically just going to come see you because like unfortunately like where we weren't like a Pittsburgh band. We were more of like a Wheeling band, so Wheeling, West Virginia. So not a lot of people in Pittsburgh kind of knew us. So we always had like a couple people that were diehards and would come see us, but like a couple people is not going to be like what you need to sell when it comes to like venues and what they want you to sell.
Right.
So we had to take matters into our own hands and like just literally hustle and try to sell tickets. And I think that like that's a huge thing for artists. Yeah, you could say it builds integrity, but like I also think that obviously if you really want it, you're gonna do whatever you can. But I think as I spoke to on the last part is having that team to be able to kind of navigate some of that stuff with you, you know what I mean? To really kind of promote you more to where like, oh, some people that may not have heard of you, now they hear of you. And we didn't really have that. Like as a band, we didn't really have that team behind us. It was just kind of like us doing our own things, trying to like do our own, like someone does a little bit of marketing, someone does the recording of the music, you know what I mean? So it was kind of one of those situations, and that's a struggle for, I guess you could say, indie artists and just artists in general that don't have a lot of backing yet. Without that team to help you, it's going to be tough getting your way into those doors that you want to open.
Now, with that being said, do you think um, it is the venues? Okay, so you said your band was in Wheeling, or
Yep.
from Wheeling. So say nowadays your band wanted to play in a venue in Ohio. Do you think it is your responsibility to get people to come to a show in Ohio? Is it the venue in Ohio's responsibility to get people to come see you? Or is it a partnership that you work together on promoting because you're from out of town?
Right.
So the venue, what do you think?
Yeah, I think 100% it's a partnership. 100%. There's no and if and buts about it. Especially if you are not someone, like 1000% if you are not someone with like a team behind you, especially, and a pretty big act in general. Yeah, if you're trying to like rise up, it is 100% a partnership. It has to be. It has to be because not one thing can do it alone. Like you can't do it alone. The venue can't do it alone. I don't care how poppin' the venue is. If people see like a flyer and they don't know your name, like, why would I come to this venue to watch these people?
Right.
Why would I do that? So it has to be a 100% a partnership. I think that the artists need to 100% promote on everything they can, their social media, all of their social media, just like, constant flooding, like, we're performing here, we're excited to perform here, we're ready for this, like, kind of keep pumping that out. And then I also think that the venue also needs to say, like, hey, this is, this artist, obviously he's not going to be so known, but hey, they're doing this, they're doing this, and they need to, like, the venue needs to kind of show, like, hey, you may not have heard of these guys, but you want to come here and listen to them. You want to check these guys out.
Like pump them up.
Yeah, pump them up, And I think that's up to the venue to do that. Now, you can only do so much as an artist, but, yeah, the venue's got to also work with you. You got to come through. Sometimes it's nice when the venues make the flyers or someone does that. That's really cool. But if it doesn't matter if they make the flyers, if you also just don't put those flyers out for people to see.
Right.
So it has to be a joint partnership if you really want to make it work. I definitely am 100% on working together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've mentioned multiple enough times now, and I think you're right, that an artist should have a team once they get to that point.
Yeah.
A team.
Yeah.
So having a team means, at least to me, means having some sort of budget.
Absolutely.
Or some sort of budget. Because you can't expect everyone to do everything for free.
Right.
So these days, knowing that, like, you're an engineer and you charge for studio time and what the artists that you come across, like, what do you think, and it's just a guesstimate, like a ballpark, realistic budget would be for a single artist?
Ooh, yeah, that's tough. I mean, because, there's a lot that goes into it. Now, when it comes to, for instance, like me, I'm just going to say for, like, my engineering stuff, right? Like, if I have someone come in or that's interested, there's one or two ways we can go about it. Obviously, you always hear a charge by the hour for studio time, right? Like, that's, like, the typical thing that most studios will do. They'll charge you an hour, 2, 3, whatever. I try to charge based on what the artist wants to do. Okay. So, sometimes an artist doesn't need a full production. Sometimes an artist just wants to do vocals.
Okay.
And they don't really care about the mixing part or the mastering or any of that stuff. They just want to have quality vocals. Okay, so, obviously, hey, what are you doing? What do you think you plan to do? Those are questions that I would have to ask to kind of get a better idea of how much I would charge. But, you may get those people who are like, hey, I want to do a whole album. Oh, well, okay. Well, depending on how many songs are in your album, how about we just do this one price here? And that's going to cover everything. That's going to cover you coming in, me recording you, me mixing your songs, me, getting everything kind of set up to where you can put this music on your social media, things like that. So, obviously, I would charge one big price for that because that's going to take a lot of time to do something. But, if someone just has a guitar and a microphone and they're like, hey, I got a couple songs I'd like to do. It doesn't have to be, like, crazy mixing or, we just want to, get us some quality songs out, Okay, well, that's something smaller than doing a whole album, so I'm going to try to work with the artist to say, okay, well, I'm going to charge you based on what you are actually doing, what I'm going to have to do for you.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Kind of like an a la carte menu.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, what else would they need a budget for, do you think?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you need a budget for everything. As an artist, as a local artist, and especially an upcoming indie artist, you got to think budget for everything, because you don't have any backing. So, right, like, you're not part of a label probably yet, right? So, if you are just coming up, you need a budget, and you need to think about every little aspect of what you need to do. So, let's go into a little bit more detail, right? Like, so, I'm an artist, say I'm a local indie artist here, and I want to start working on music. Now, say I don't have a studio, and I can't just record my own stuff, right? First thing is first. You need to have a budget on, do you have equipment? As in, do you have a guitar? Do you already have like an amplifier? Can
Okay.
you do things? Do you have drums? Like, do you have the stuff to actually play the music you want to play, right? So that's right off the bat. Like, do you have a microphone? Can you do like band practices, right? So you have to have a budget for that. If you don't have that equipment already to even do a band practice or just a practice alone, if you're even just a solo artist, then you need to work that in. So
Yeah, okay,
let's talk
okay.
about that first. Second thing is, say you already have the equipment, and now you want to take it to the next step. You want to you want to put out something. But before you can put out something, you need to actually record something, and you want some quality essentially quality audio, right? So most likely you're going to pay someone to do it. You're probably going to go to a studio. So you need a budget for studio time. And rather it doesn't matter where you go, someone's always going to charge you for studio, to be in a studio. So you got to factor that in. Now, that could be as simple as, hey, you look around at different studios around your area. And maybe depending on the kind of quality you want, maybe you want to go to an expensive $100,000-$200,000 facility, right? Or maybe you know some people that actually have a studio, and maybe you can get a little bit more discounted rate on some things. So it really just depends on your level. What is your budget, right? And what level do you want, and what quality do you want your art to be, right? Because, I mean, technically, you could have your own little makeshift studio in your house.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to say your quality is going to be great, because you have to have someone who knows what they're doing to work the equipment, you know? So it just depends on the quality level that you want, and I think it also depends on what your budget generally is on how much that you make.
Okay.
So once you get to that level, I think like you have to factor things in like marketing, right? You got to factor things in like once you have a product, once you have music, how do I get that out? That's going to be a big marketing thing. Are you going to actually go the indie route and do everything yourself? Are you going to actually have someone to pay someone to market your stuff on your social media? Are you going to go out and do like a Bandcamp, SoundCloud? A lot of times if you go to those places, they'll actually have like packages that say like, hey, if you have music, we can help you out with getting this music out, and there's some things that can really promote you and help you right on those sites. So sometimes you might want to take advantage of that. And then, yeah, I mean, how far do you want to go? Do you want to have just music? Do you want to have a photo shoot? Do you want to have a music video? So those are so many factors you have to think about as an upcoming artist. Like how far do you want to take things with your music? Yeah, you got to start off somewhere.
Yeah. Now, sorry. Now, I remember going on Spotify, and this was a long time ago, and, I would want to listen to a song, say, I can't think of anybody now. I don't know, somebody. And they would have a clean version and an explicit version. I noticed anymore that does not happen.
Yeah.
What is your take on that? Like, if people want to be bigger and be mainstream or close to mainstream, I mean, my experience was I used to have a radio station.
Yeah.
And when I changed the radio station to clean radio friendly music only, it could be any genre, but it had to be radio friendly. I lost so many artists because they didn't have radio friendly music. And I'm like, why? To me, that just seemed like if you have an explicit version, you would automatically get the clean version at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, does that cost more money to do that? Is that why they're not doing it? Or they just, what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, money is obviously, it's definitely a factor. I think that, it's going to be more studio time, to do, because now you got to think of, like, clean words to put in, and you have to edit over those. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to take a little bit more time just in general with, like, being in the studio and getting that. kind of getting that nailed down. Obviously, the more the versions you have, you got to put those versions out. Where do you put those versions out, right? Like, do you put the clean version, like, on this social media? Do you put the bad version on the other? Like, it's kind of like figuring that out too. I am definitely 100% though, like, a big proponent in having a clean version and, like, an unedited version. I think that if you really want to, it depends on the audience too. I think that's a huge thing, because a lot of, like, hip hop artists and stuff, like, a lot of times they just don't care too. They're like, no, this is my audience. Like, either you like it or you don't like it, And you gotta make that decision early on in your career. Like, hey, if I'm going to, be cursing in a lot of my music, like, is this is it just, like, this audience in specific that I want to, like, hear it? Because, like, obviously you can't, like, be putting that stuff on with, like, your 5 and 6-year-old in the van as you're driving down on a family outing.
You hope not.
Like, so you would want to have, like, for me, I would want to have a clean version. But, I think, like, a lot of, like, artists are kind of just like, screw it. Like, I'm only pandering to adults, and I want them to hear the raw, like, this is what I feel, But, I think that I like having both. I like to be able to have an option. A lot of my music that I make, I will throw out, well, I don't really curse so much on a lot of my songs, but even if there are songs that, like, I do, it's super easy for me to just edit it out and then just have a clean version. So, like, anywhere I could, easily come up with that clean version. But I think there's a few different little, sides to how artists nowadays want to put their music out.
Yeah, I think, I'm an adult, and I don't always want to hear all the explicit scenes. I'm not opposed to it, but I like to hear it consistently. It's just some days I'm like, like,
right,
that's enough.
Right.
But, and I think an artist like Tyler, the Creator, he's mainstream because he has clean versions of his songs. Because his songs, the explicit versions, definitely would have never, mainstream would have never touched them.
Right.
So, I don't know, I would think that's an important piece that artists should keep kind of in the front of their head. If your music is like that, to have two versions of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the big topic, everyone, it's sort of like blueberries. You either like blueberries or you don't. AI. Yeah, right?
Hey.
AI. People either like AI or they don't want anything to do with it. And the music industry seems to be split right down the middle. Blueberry lovers and non-blueberry lovers.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
I'm going to be different. How about I think that there's levels to this. And I think that
level blueberries.
There's level blueberries. There's some bigger, there's some smaller, there's some sweeter. It just depends.
Okay.
But no, I definitely think that there are levels to this. And I am not an AI hater, but I'm also not like, oh my god, AI's the best thing ever when it comes to music.
Okay.
So, this is how I take it, right? AI can 100% be a helpful assistant. Like, 1,000%. And to be fair, I don't use a lot of, like, AI whenever I would do a song. But for instance, like, I have, like, my digital audio workstation. I have a lot of, like, VSTs, and some of them are, like, really good in the stuff that they do. So for instance, like, I have a VST where you have to sing into, like, the mic. You have to actually do the performance. But it's a really cool thing where, say I don't have, like, I'm just going to throw this out there, even though I play bass. Say I don't have a bassist, but I have this awesome bass line, but I can't play bass. And maybe I can't play piano either to make it a bass, right? So I have this really cool AI plugin where I can essentially do a bass line with my voice.
Okay.
So I could go like boop, 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 boop. And then what I can do is I'll sing that into the microphone, and what that'll do is through AI, it'll go through and make it sound like an actual bass guitar.
Okay.
So I can lay a bass line down, even though I can't play.
Okay.
I have it in my head. I can sing it, but I can't play it. And AI is 100% a great, helpful tool for that.
Okay.
And I 100% support that. Like,
Okay.
I support all of that. Where I don't support AI is there's actually full on, when you take it to the extreme, and you literally just have AI artists at this point.
Okay.
People that don't even exist in real life. They're
Yeah.
just like, yep, I'm going to put this prompt into the AI. It's going to write a song for me. And then I'm going to put these lyrics into this, like, melody. And then it's going to have an AI person, like, vocal and just sing it. And then it's like, whoa, where's the human side of all this? Like,
Right.
it's just like, you have AI literally do the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Now, obviously people do it because, yeah, it's easy, right? But, I mean, it's the human side of it's gone out of music. And, like, I don't ever want to see that happen, where it's just like, now we live with AI artists. And then, like, you know what upset me? One time I was listening to just some random music. I came across a song I really liked. I come to find out, I'm looking up the artist, I come to find out that this artist is an AI artist. And I was like, why do I, oh my god. Oh my god. This person doesn't exist, this is not a thing. Like, it's just completely made up. But I'm like, why do I like that, you know? And I think that like, as frustrating as that is for me, because I do enjoy making music, and I do enjoy hearing other musicians make music. It's frustrating for me because, like, you know, even though I didn't know that was an AI artist at first, like, it's like you still enjoy it, but you enjoy it less now because it's like it's not real, you know, it's not tangible. And I think that that's going to be a big thing in the future, though. I think that it's going to be huge. AI is only getting better and better as we speak. It's only progressing.
Yeah.
So there's no, like, oh, well, it's only going to be at this level. Like, yeah, right. Like, think about the conversation we may have, like, the next year, and then the next year after that. Like, AI is just going to keep booming, and especially when it comes to, like, music, creativity, it's going to take off, as it already has. So I think we're kind of stuck with it. But I will say, for me, I always will prefer, like, the human part of a song.
Right. And the other part is AI artists can't perform.
They can't.
Unless you get like a hologram or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, overall, they're not going to be standing on a stage in the South Side or something.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to see that at a local event where you're like, here's this AI artist performing. You're not going to see that. Maybe, I don't know, who knows, like 10, 15, 20 years down the road, we might have robots, like, performing. We don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes that long.
Yeah, yeah, so who knows what we'll see in the future.
Yeah. Now, with that being, okay, so let's talk about venues.
Okay.
I know in my experience, some venues in some cities are easier to get a hold of, speak to a real person, get a response via email, you know, what have you, than versus other cities. Now, do you feel that a lot of artists also are having issues getting a hold of or getting responses back maybe from venues? Not all venues, just some, you know, here and there.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think that some venues will not look at you. Like, they will go on your social media profile, and if you don't have this many followers, they're like, nah, we're not going to.
And I think that's unfair.
We're not going to even communicate with you.
That's unfair.
Yeah.
Very unfair.
Yeah.
Some people have millions of followers, and they're not that great. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Some people have just a few or a couple hundred followers, and they're awesome. I think that's an unfair assessment, judging someone on their social media, because I know a lot of artists that just really don't have a lot to do with social media.
Right.
They just don't they're not on it a lot. or anything. So that's like no. So that I think that's a very unfair assessment.
Right. I would agree.
I just totally bowled you over. And
No.
thinking I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Because I agree with that. No, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, it's just not, it's not cool. I mean, there's a lot of amazing artists that, not a lot of people know about. And it's like, okay, cool. But here's the deal. If you just pass over everyone without even, like, listening to their music, you're literally just looking at a number at that point. And you're like, if this number doesn't match, sorry. And that's crazy.
Yeah. And I've said to venues before, when trying to book people, they're like, do they have a big following? I'm like, the Rolling Stones were once new too. Mm-hmm. They were just these kids,
Yeah.
These young guys. No one knew who they were.
Right.
At all. And look at them now.
Right.
Jimi Hendrix, like everybody is new at some point.
Right.
Everybody. So don't you want to be the person to maybe give that artist a shot just because they're new and you haven't heard of them? Mm-hmm. 5-10 years down the road, you might be like, oh crap.
Right.
Right? He or she could have played here or there,
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's something. It's very, do you feel it's kind of like a club? Like, who knows, who you know?
Oh. It's 100% that.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I think that, like, there's obviously, there's going to be venues that are way more susceptible to having new people come in, and that's awesome. We love that. But I think that, I mean, with everything in life, there's going to be, if you know someone, you're in. Sometimes, the age-old saying, like, it doesn't matter the skills, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life, but if you know the right people, they can take you to that next level. They can get you in.
Yeah.
And I think that has definitely plays a part in some areas in music for sure. Because, I mean, there's been places where, I've known people or like, hey, so-and-so works here, they could put in a good word for us. And if, maybe, who knows, like, maybe we wouldn't have been able to do this if it wasn't for that person, but no one really knows. Like, it's just like, oh, the so-and-so? Okay, cool, yeah, let them know, like, we're interested in this. And then they'd make it happen. What would happen if we wouldn't? Like, would it still would have went down? Who knows? Like, so I think, like, for sure, it plays a big part in some of, like, these venues and areas that local artists and just upcoming artists may want to do, and they just don't know the right people. Or, hey, maybe they do know the right people and they get a chance to get in,
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it plays a good part in it.
Now, I've asked you all the questions. What are some questions I haven't asked you that you see as potential issues? And don't worry, we're not just bitching. We're going to have a part 3 after this with potential solutions that might work for musicians and artists. Same thing, I'm getting tired. Musicians and venues to work together maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
So this middle part 2, is just kind of like our bitch session.
Yeah. It's okay. We got to complain about stuff because there's a lot to complain about. No, like I'm gonna just complain a little bit more on the venue side of stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, no. I think it's crazy, right? Because I think venues in general, a lot of them are just kind of, they're really stuck in their ways, and I think that the world is everly adapting and moving and changing. And I think that a lot of these owners of the venues, they really need to, like, take a hard look around, and they need to see, we gotta change. We gotta make a change. And these venues nowadays, I would say not all venues, but quite a few, especially some of the venues in the Pittsburgh area, they are really just like, hey, it's got to work a certain way. As we kind of just were discussing, we don't want this artist if they don't have this many followers, and we don't want to switch up what we do. We want to have these certain nights as this, and like they want to have these drink specials, which make no sense. Like, so I just think that there is a lot, especially when it comes to the venues, where they need to look around. They need to look at the current climate, the current environment, and they need to say, okay, if we want to continue growing our business, or if we want to just stay in business, then we need to start to make some changes. And I think that is a huge thing that is not really so much discussed. No, I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it. So, I mean, we have solutions, which we'll talk about next part. But I think that, at least for me, that's some of, like, maybe some of my gripes that I have. And, I mean, when it comes to, like, the artists, too, I mean, artists are doing what they can do, but I think that, you're going to put you're going to get what you put in. So, if you're an artist and you're really, like, about your music and you're about, like, wanting to get your name out there, you're going to do the absolute most to help get yourself promoted, to say, like, hey, if I'm performing here, I'm going to let the world know I'm performing here.
Right.
I'm like, you got to come see me. You're going to make sure when you're performing, someone is videotaping you. You're going to make sure you throw that content out there. You're going to be like, hey, this is it. Oh, you seen me here? Well, here's your chance to see me here, too. And if you didn't see me there, you saw that video. That video is good, right? Oh, this next show is going to be even better.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to, like, really kind of jump out there and make people really want to come see you. And I think that, like, some artists are just chill, and they're just like, yep, I'm performing here. It'd be great if you could come. And then that's all you hear from them. Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay, well... Okay. That doesn't really hype me to come see you, but I mean, it's cool, bro. Like, if I get a chance, yeah, man, I'll come through. But I'm not hyping this. But like, you want to, especially with like people you know, you gotta hype the heck out of it. Like, you gotta act like you're the shit, and like you really gotta act like this is the show you really want to be at. You know, what are you doing on a Thursday, Friday night? Nothing. You're coming here. Like, you gotta see this, because this is about to make your weekend, right? Like, we're gonna make this weekend banging, right? You're gonna hit it off right. So, so I think that there's definitely things that venues can do, but there's 100% things that artists can do, especially if you're an upcoming artist and you really want to kind of, get your name out there a lot more. Sometimes you gotta fight for it. You gotta really want it, and you gotta really like show people that like this is what you do. This is your thing. When people hear your name, they don't want to be like, oh, that's so and so. They work at the local 7-Eleven. Yeah. No. Yeah. I want people to know I'm working at the local 7-Eleven. What? No, I want you to know by like I'm in this band or I'm this artist. That's how you know me. Oh, you see me performing here and here and here. You hear my music out there. That's how you know me. Not so. Oh, this is Brandon. He just works at the freaking 7-Eleven down the road. Nah. So,
oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, you're right. That was just funny, though. And what do you think about this? I feel like it's a trend now when, in certain circumstances, when venues are struggling and they put GoFundMes out there. Now, I get it, like, if it's a natural disaster or someone vandalized your place, like, really bad, like, unexpected things.
Right.
But when you're struggling because as a venue or a venue owner, you can't make your bills or, well, that's usually what it is, can't make the bills or something, like, or the rent, the lease, they put a GoFundMe up there. Well, I say a trend, I don't know if it really is, but I have seen it more and more and more. And I've owned businesses before, and as a business owner, you're not waking up one morning going, oh my God, my doors are going to close in a week if I don't do something. Like, from the start, or you should know, how your numbers are and I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Because that's just, and especially in this economy,
Oh yeah.
gas is too high, price food's too high, and then you want customers to bail you out as well. I don't know. Go.
It's hard. Okay, here's the thing. Like, I don't want to go too in depth because I have all these like solutions for people, and like, it's gonna be on the third part. But I 100% agree. I think that when people throw GoFundMe out, it's understandable if something tragic happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that could be through a natural disaster. It could just be by accident. Something accidentally happened. And at that point, everyone needs a little help. I think that's a perfect place for a GoFundMe or anything like that. However, yes, as a thing I've also noticed is that there are people who, excuse me, like 100% mismanagement. That's what it is. And when times get rough, they're just like, we're going to have the community come out and help. And, like, that should never be the case. Because of mismanagement or lack of change, and now you're asking your own...
Lack of change.
Yeah, lack of change. And you're asking your supporters who've already supported you. What do you mean? The people that you're asking for to give you money, they already come to your place.
Mm-hmm.
They already liked your place, but it's not their fault that it's going downhill because of your mismanagement and lacking of changing. But now you're like, okay, well, come to my place, but also continue to give me money on GoFundMe now. So it's like, something's not right. Something's not right. And I am 100% against that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in that. If I screwed up, I screwed up, and I gotta take that. I gotta take the L. And I got to figure out, okay, well, now that I screwed up, how do I recover from this? Mm-hmm. And I can't just go around asking the community to bail me out.
Right.
Come on, What, what is this? The U.S. government got to bail me out? No. What am I, a banker? Sorry, guys, I need your money now to bail me out because it was my mismanagement. So, I'm not going to do that. So, but yeah, there are solutions to that. But I definitely would have to agree that, there are ways that you can do it the right way when it comes to setting up things like GoFundMe, and then there are ways to do it the wrong way. And, it's going to be tough to sit here and tell these people, always do it the right way, but because they're not going to listen. But even if that is the case, you're going to find yourself later down the road, and you're going to be in the same place, still needing help.
Even correct.
Because it doesn't really. It's just a temporary patch. It's just it's not going to fully repair the way your business operates. So that's how I feel about it.
Very well said.
Thanks.
And with that, yay, we're going to be moving on to part 3 and asking Brandon what his thoughts are on some solutions to help artists out, to help venues out, if to help the general public out, So we will see you in a few minutes.
Yep.
Bye.